A pleasant day to each and everyone, and today we will going to discuss about the poverty. No? So what is poverty? So when we talk about poverty, it is an economic state characterized by scarcity of money and basic necessities such as yung food, shelter, education, and healthcare. Healthcare. So poverty comes from the word poverty, which means for poverty. I'm sorry for the PPT. Now, so ibig sabihin po ng poverty, ibig sabihin po ito ay kahirapan, no? Na kung saan yung scarcity sa money, ibig sabihin yung pagkawala ng pera, hindi kaya yung mga basic necessities like walang pambili ng mga foods, walang housing, walang good housing condition, walang access sa education, and wala rin silang access sa healthcare. Now, sa poverty kasi, as we can see sa ating kapaligiran, no, may makikita tayong mga street children, yung mga homelessness, no. Aside from that, aside from yung mga prostitution, no, it's kind of poverty pa rin, no. It is a type, kasi when we talk about poverty, it's not just about talking about a lack of money, but it is also talking about a societal problem na nangyayari sa ating ating bansa. So aside from that, dun sa ating kapaligiran, yung mga trust na binibigay, it is also a poverty, no? Poverty kasi nga yung mga tao tinatapon na lang doon. And aside from that, yung aside from lacking of yung mga tao rin na walang access sa healthcare, no? So they are yun yung mga yung mga example na poverty na nakikita po natin. So hindi lang yun, no? Now, para mas lalo natin maintindihan, let's talk about the types of poverty. Actually, we have 7 types of poverty. First, we have the absolute poverty. Second, the relative poverty, the situational poverty, the chronic poverty, the generational poverty, the rural poverty, and urban poverty. So, ito yung mga types ng poverty, no? Now, let's talk about the absolute poverty. So, when we talk about absolute poverty, this is type of poverty na kung saan it's extreme lack of basic needs such as food, clean water, shelter, healthcare, and education. So, ibig sabihin, itong absolute poverty, no, ito talaga yung pinakamahirap pa sa mahirap. Kasi nga, wala silang education, wala silang kakayahan. Extreme, no? Ibig sabihin, wala silang kakayahan talaga. Even sa food, wala sila. Like, for example, yung mga street children, hindi nila kayang bumili ng pagkain nila, nanlilimos pa sila. So, wala rin silang clean water na pwede. Wala silang access sa mga clean water na iniinom natin, no? Sa kahit saan na lang sila umiinom, no? Makita natin sa Africa, di ba? So, talagang mahirap doon. And aside from that, shelter, wala rin sila. Like for example, yung mga homeless na mga tao, no? Yung natutulog na lang sa mga kalsada, sa mga sementeryo. So, yun yung mga tapos healthcare, wala rin silang access doon kasi nga hindi sila pinapapasok kasi nga kapag di ba? So wala rin silang access diyan. And aside from that, yung education, hindi sila nakakapag-aral, especially mga homelessness kasi nga wala rin silang pera. So extreme nga, no, even nga basic necessities hindi nila kaya. How much more, no, kung papasok pa sa school. So wala po talaga silang kakayahan. So yun yung absolute poverty. Example nun is yung mga homelessness, no? Wala talaga sila, no? Pangalawa is yung relative poverty. So this type of poverty naman, it's only measures about the comparison naman ito. Comparison between living standards and income levels of society. Ito naman ay may mga may mga house, may good condition naman yung mga house nila. Tapos may mga access naman sa mga basic necessities, mga water, electricity. However, relative kasi siya due to the fact na may comparison kasi nga hindi sapat yung kinikita nila for their para i-sustain lahat ng pangangailangan nila. Like for example, yung isang solo parent. So nagtatrabaho. Siya lang yung mag-isa. May access naman sila, pero hindi kaya. Diba, may 5 siyang anak, pero hindi niya kaya yung paaralin. So, kasi nga, hindi ganun ka-standard yun. Although, may access sila, mayroon silang ito, pero kulang pa rin. So, it is talks about comparison of a standard living. So, yun po yung relative poverty. So, hindi ganun kakayan. May access pero kulang na kulang pa rin yung income levels nila. No? Hindi ganun kaganda yung standard of living nila. Now, sa situational poverty naman, so, when we talk about situational poverty, ito ay isang temporary lamang. So, it is a temporary poverty which caused by what? By adverse of events such as yung mga disaster, illness, or job loss. So, ibig sabihin, ito naman situational lamang siya. Kasi nga, depende sa situation. Like for example, nung pandemic, maraming nawalan ng trabaho. So, that's type of a situational poverty, no? Maraming mga tao yung maraming pamilya yung nawalan. Maraming individuals yung nawalan. So, that's type of situational poverty kasi nga, nagkaroon ng sakit because of COVID. So, hindi nakakapasok. Nawala ng maraming trabaho. Now, aside from that, yung mga sa disaster, yung mga nawala ng bahay, nasunugan. So, this is a type of situational kasi nga, kaya pa naman nilang bumangon. Kaya pa namang bumangon, pero mahirap pa rin. And it is also needed to be solved. Kasi nga, para makaahon ulit naman sila. So, it is a temporary lang. Pero, may severe pa rin siya, no? Severe effects pa rin. Now, pang-apat dyan is yung chronic, no? Yung chronic poverty. So, when we talk about chronic poverty, this type of poverty na it talks about persistence of prolonged economic deprivation experienced by individuals or community over an extended period. Ibig sabihin, prolonged to siya. Even years or generation lang siya. Even years lang. Halimbawa, 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, hindi pa rin nila na-improve yung standard living nila. So, chronic yun siya. Like, for example, may bahay sila, pero hanggang ngayon, hindi pa rin sila, ilang years na, hindi pa rin na-improve yung house na. May bahay sila, pero sira-sira na. Pero ilang years, hindi pa rin nila na-improve yung house nila. So, it's type of chronic poverty, no? Ilang years na siya, prolong siya. So, prolonged poverty siya, even generation na hindi pa rin nila na-improve yung kung doon lamang sila, doon pa rin talaga. So, yun yung chronic poverty. Period extended, hindi nila na-improve yung living condition nila. Now, aside from that is the generational poverty, no? When we talk about generation poverty, it talks about a poverty where persists across 2 or more generation within family. So, ang pinagkaiba nito sa chronic kasi period lang, even year or generation lamang. One generation lang, ganun. So, ito sa generational poverty naman, ito naman ay nakafocus siya sa generation by generation by generation. 2 or more generation. Like for example, mahirap yung unang generation, mahirap na naman yung isang generation. Hanggang sa next generation nila, hindi pa rin nila na-improve yung sarili nila o yung family nila, no? Family nila. Halimbawa na lang, no? Yung mga sa mga urban, no? Special sa mga urban, no? Pinanganak silang mahirap, yung anak nila lalaki ring mahirap, tapos mag-aasawa pa rin ng mahirap hanggang sa it is a cycle ba, kumbaga pasa-pasa ng generation, pass down through generation. So yun yung generational poverty. Ngayon, ito naman, let's talk about the urban poverty. So, sa rural muna tayo. Rural poverty. So, ito naman rural poverty ay dito sa cities is limited yung jobs and services. Why it's so, no? Kasi nga, even though nasa city tayo, mayroon pa rin nararanasan kasi nga, yung mga tao ay kulang, no? Yung trabaho na open. Kulang sa opportunities. Kulang yung limited din yung services na natatanggap nila. So, because of that, nagkakaroon pa rin ng poverty. Maraming mga unemployed, mayroon ng nakagraduate na, pero wala pa rin trabaho. So, that's type of a rural poverty na nararanasan natin. Now, sa last one is the urban poverty. I don't think so. It is the last one. Yeah, it is the last one. The urban poverty, ito naman ay yung sa mga residing area, dun sa mga province. So, yun naman itong nararanasan to. So, ito naman yung mga overcrowding, no? Kasi nga sa urban, no? Especially sa mga province talaga, makikita talaga natin yung mga extended family doon, no? Mga apo nandoon na sa isang bahay lang. So, makikita na overcrowding yung bahay. So, nakikita po talaga natin. And hindi ganun kaganda, no? Poor housing condition. So, kinakailangan din natin limited yung social protection nila, no? kulang. At saka aside from that, hindi rin naaabot sa kanila sometimes yung mga services na binibigay ng government. Kasi nga malayo and nasa ano talaga sila, no? Mga baka malayo sila sa city. So, wala rin yung opportunities. And aside from that, sometimes nahihirapan din sila paaralin yung mga anak nila, no? Dito sa city kasi nga kulang, no? They don't have opportunities. I mean, they are lack of money. They always yun yung una at saka wala silang kakilala dito. So, sometimes yun yung mga nararanasan sa urban, no? Kulang talaga. Even yung pagbili, so malayo, no? So, yun yung mga nararanasan ng mga urban poverty. So, overall, no? Poverty, it talks overall, no? To sum it up, no? Poverty, no, is actually a major problem na nararanasan natin. It is actually a multidimensional phenomenon which actually it is a multidimensional phenomenon kasi nga maraming aspeto yung poverty, no? Marami at kailangan talaga ito masolusyonan, no? In order for us para masolusyon yung big poverty na to, no? Of course, as a social worker, no, we do we provide services, we give programs, we render services para sa mga poverty para masolusyon itong mga poverty, no. But overall, poverty actually it's a major big problem and kailangan itong masolusyon. So that's for all and thank you and God bless.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh. Good day everyone. I am Milmashir M. Abdul Magid, and today we'll be talking about the Philippines law on poverty and programs. So, uh, right off the bat, we have the RA 8425 or the Social Reform and Poverty Alleviation Act. Dito sa um, dito sa act na ito, this law serves as the main legal framework of the Philippine government in reducing the poverty. It focuses on helping poor communities through social justice, equal opportunities, and access to basic services such as education, healthcare, housing, and livelihood programs. The law also encourages the government agencies and communities to work together in improving the quality of life of disadvantaged individuals or families. So, an example explanation is that the Social Reform and Poverty Alleviation Act aims to address the very root that causes the poverty in our country. So it promotes fair distribution of resources and supports programs that help people become self-sufficient. Through this law, the government creates projects and policies that provide a long-term solution to poverty and social inequality. So the example of these are we have the Poor Peace or Pantawid Pamilyang Filipino program. So this program gives the financial assistance to poor families. In return, parents must ensure that their children must attend school and their children must receive regularly proper health checkups and vaccinations. So we also have the example of affordable housing project. So this project help families from informal settlements or low income communities to gain access to safe and affordable housing through the government assistance. Sa livelihood and next example is the livelihood and skills training programs that the government agencies provide training, seminars, and livelihood support to help unemployed or low-income individuals develop skills and earn income for their families. So the next law that helps the poor communities in our country is the RA 11310 or the Poor Peace Act, also known as the Pantawid Pamilyang Filipino Program. That RA 11310 is an institutionalized institutionalized law that aims to the reduction of poverty through programs. So it focuses on improving the health, nutrition, and education of poor households through conditional cash assistance from the government. So, the Purpose Act provides financial support to poor families to help them meet their daily needs and support their children's education and health. To continue receiving assistance, the family must follow certain conditions such as sending their children to schools, attending family development session, and ensuring regular health checkups. The program helps reduce the poverty and improve the future of the children. So an example of this is when a low-income family with three children receives monthly financial assistance through the 4 Ps program. Because of the support, the children are able to attend school regularly, receive school supplies, and access to proper health care. So the parents also must participate in family development sessions that teach responsible parenting and financial management. As a result, the family's living condition gradually improves. So next law is the RA 7902, or the Housing Loan Condonation Program. So uh, this program provides financial assistance and loan condonation to low-income families who struggle to pay housing loans. So it aims to help families secure a decent housing and reduce the burden of unpaid housing debts. So the socialized and low-cost housing loan condonation program helps the poor families by reducing or forgiving housing loan payments. So through this assistance, the families are given a chance to improve their home or move into safer and more affordable housing communities. The program promotes better living conditions and housing security for disadvantaged families or individuals. So an example of this, if a family living in a damaged and unsafe house receive a housing assistance and loan condonation from the government, and because of the reduced financial burden, they are able to repair their home and improve their living environment. So this helps provide the family with better safety, comfort, and quality of life. So the next topic will be the programs that help elevate the poverty in our country. So these are the four programs. We have the 4Ps, or the Pantawid Pamilyang Pilipino Program, the SLP, or Sustainable Livelihood Program, the Universal Healthcare, and community-based initiatives to help reduce poverty in our community, or in our country. So first off, we have the 4Ps Pantawid Pamilyang Pilipino Program. As we said earlier, that we have discussed this already, where the certain agencies or the government agency provide financial assistance to those people that are lacking with financial aspect. So, next is the Sustainable Livelihood Program. The Sustainable Livelihood Program, it is implemented by the Department of Social Welfare and Development, or DSWD. The SLP provides support for livelihood development and employment opportunities to the poor and vulnerable households. It includes skills training, capacity building, access to microfinance, and enterprise development initiatives. Next is the Universal Healthcare, or UHC. So the UHC Act ensures that all Filipinos have access to quality and affordable health services, including preventive, promotive, curative, rehabilitative, and palliative. It aims to reduce out-of-pocket expenses for healthcare and improve health outcomes, particularly among low-income families. So next is the community-based programs and services. So in here, the various government agencies, like the local government units, or LGUs, and civil society organizations implemented the community-based programs and services to address the specific needs of poor and marginalized communities. These initiatives may include feeding programs, nutrition intervention, housing assistance, and skills training and social welfare services. And last is the disaster response and resilience program. So in here, the given vulnerability of the poor communities to natural disasters and climate change, Disaster response and resilience program are essential components of poverty reduction efforts to the reduction efforts in the Philippines. These programs aim to strengthen the resilience of communities, improve disaster preparedness and response, and provide support for post-disaster recovery and rehabilitation. And that is all for my report. Thank you very much.
Good day everyone. Today I'm going to discuss about homelessness in the Philippines, its challenges, and how the government manage this issue. First of all, even isa ang Philippines sa fastest growing economies in Southeast Asia, malaking problema pa rin ang homelessness dito sa bansa. Based on the report, may 4.5 million homeless people sa Pilipinas, kasama na rito ang mga bata. So meaning, maraming Pilipino ang walang permanenteng tirahan at nahihirapan ma-meet ang kanilang basic needs. Next is ang causes of homelessness. So maraming dahilan kung bakit nagiging homeless ang mga tao sa Pilipinas. So una rito ay ang kahirapan o poverty. So dahil kulang ang kita ng maraming pamilya, hindi nila kayang magbayad ng rent o magkaroon ng sariling bahay. Pangalawa is ang domestic violence. So may mga tao, lalo na mga babae at bata, na napipilitang umalis sa kanilang tahanan dahil sa abuse o violence sa loob ng pamilya. Pangatlo is ang natural disasters tulad ng bagyo, lindol at baha. So dahil madalas tamaan ng kalamidad ang Pilipinas, maraming bahay ang nasisira at nagiging homeless ang mga pamilya. So ang next is ang mode of management. So to address this problem, nagtutulungan ang government at NGOs or non-government organizations. So nagbibigay sila ng financial support, housing grants, health and education assistance, street outreach programs, and housing development projects. So the goal of these programs is to provide decent housing and livelihoods para sa mga homeless individuals at families. Next is the types of homeless. So, iba't iba rin ang naaapektuhan ng homelessness. Kasama rito ang mga family, individual, at lalo na yung mga bata o street children. So, ang mga street children ay mas vulnerable dahil wala silang sapat na proteksyon, edukasyon, and access sa basic needs. Next is ang challenges faced. Isa sa pinakamalaking problema sa bansa ay ang housing backlog na umaabot sa 6.5 million housing units. Meaning, kulang na kulang ang mga bahay para sa mga nangangailangan. Moreover, mahirap din para sa mga homeless people ang makabalik sa normal na pamumuhay dahil sa limited job opportunities and lack of education. Next is ang laws and programs for the homeless. So, may mga batas at programs rin na ginagawa para matulungan ang homeless sector. So, isa na rito is ang Magna Carta for the Homeless or Republic Act number 11291. So, it was enacted in 2019 para maprotektahan ang rights ng homeless individuals. Kasama rito ang access sa basic services, social protection, and housing assistance. Second is ang 1987 Philippine Constitution. So sa Article 13, Section 9, kinikilala ng Constitution ang mga underprivileged at homeless citizens bilang beneficiaries ng housing programs at urban land reform. Third is ang Republic Act number 7279 or Urban Development and Housing Act of 1992. So, nagbibigay ito ng framework para sa housing development and affordable housing projects. Number 4 is ang Republic Act number 3801 or Child and Youth Welfare Code. So, pinoprotektahan naman nito ang mga homeless children at nagbibigay ng access sa care, support, and shelter. Last is ang DSWD programs. Ang Department of Social Welfare and Development o DSWD ay may iba't ibang programs tulad ng temporary shelters, livelihood assistance, and support services para sa homeless individuals and families. So to conclude, ang homelessness sa Philippines ay isang seryosong problema na nangangailangan ng immediate attention and action. Kailangan ng tulong mula sa government, private organization, and buong community upang mabigyan ng maayos na shelters, education, job, and basic services ang mga homeless Filipinos. So, importante rin ang tamang data collection, advocacy, and protection of human rights para masolusyonan ang problemang ito. And that's for all po. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh. My name is Shaima M. Sali, the last reporter for the Group 9. And today, I will be discussing the implications of social work. So first one, here, first slide, we have the introduction. So hindi ko na po babasahin yung mahabang paragraph na to, but instead, I will explain it to you. So we all know that the social work helps people improve their lives. But dito sa implication of social work, it says here that social work practice is a field where they help improve lives by using ethics, yung nakasulat dyan, policies, programs, and direct services. So, social workers must do kung ano yung tama, the right and fair, and also follow rules and laws, and also provide programs and services that will help individuals, families, communities. They should be also careful with their decisions because wrong labels or action can reflect a person's feeling and also rights. So, social workers create programs that answer community needs and also help people. So, help people become stronger and the more independent, kasi hindi dapat si client mo hindi dapat maging dependent sa iyo because you're not working for the client, you're working with the client. So understanding these important parts helps social work students learn how to help others fairly and promote social justice in society. Next up is the ethical considerations. Please excuse yung pronunciation ko po dahil I have wisdom tooth na tumutubo and I cannot speak eloquently. Opo. So next one is the ethical considerations. The ethical considerations are the principles and values that guide decision-making and behavior in situations where there is a potential impact on others. So, it is stated there that the ethical considerations are the principles, values na nag-guide sa social worker kung ano nga ba ang right and fair na gagawin kapag tumutulong ka na ng isang tao or ng mga tao. Because not only individual, we also have family, communities, groups, as such. So, social worker must be careful with their decisions because, ulitin ko, their actions can affect a person's feelings, rights, and future. For example na lang nandito, a social worker working with a child who is experiencing behavioral challenges at school might avoid labeling the child with a specific diagnosis like ADHD. So, ang isang social worker should not quickly label a child with ADHD without proper understanding dahil maaari itong mag-cause na mahihiya or mai-embarrass yung bata or unfairly judged by others. So, the social worker must study the child's situation carefully before making decisions. Next up is the policies. So, policies, from the word policies, are laws, rules, and guidelines. This helps the social workers provide proper and fair services. These policies protect the rights of clients, okay, and guide social workers in doing their responsibilities correctly. Like for example, dito sa binigay ko, isang example lang yan. This is the law for our profession, which is the Republic Act 4373, an act to regulate the practice of social work in the Philippines, of course. So, here, it explains who can become a licensed social work and how social work agencies should operate properly. Actually, there are many Republic Acts, pero I only added one. So next one is the programs. So programs are organized sets of activities and also services created to help individuals, families, and communities with their needs, of course, and problems. So these programs provide support, guidance, and opportunities para ma-improve yung lives nila. So, for example, here on the next slide, have like 3. I added 3. The counseling programs, the advocacy programs, case management programs, etc. So sa counseling programs help people who are experiencing emotional, mental, or behavioral problems. So, social workers listen to their concerns, of course. Mag-interviewan kayo one-on-one, 90-10, 90 galing kay client, 10 galing sa'yo. Because it is, you're gonna talk with each other. With boundaries, of course. Kasi we're upholding the principles first. So, social worker listen to their concerns, give advice, of course, and help them manage their feelings and problems. So we have this word, the partialization and prioritization. First, break the goal into something manageable parts para madali mo siya ma-accomplish, and then partialization, unahin mo yung pinaka-need, yung pinaka-urgent. Ganun po. Then next is the advocacy programs. So advocacy programs protects people rights and help them receive services such as education, healthcare, and financial support. Social workers speak and act for people who cannot fight for their own rights. So next one is the case management programs. So dito, the case management programs help organize and monitor the services given to clients. So social workers makes sure that the people continues receiving proper care, support, and assistance. Next up is the services. So according to the definition itself, services in the context of social work encompass the diverse range of assistance, interventions, services, and support provided to individuals, families, groups, and communities to address their needs, enhance their well-being, and promote social justice. So, the services in social work are the different kinds of help and support na binibigay sa individuals, families, and communities. So, these services will improve their well-being and alleviate them from the social dysfunctioning that they're experiencing. And also this will promote social justice. Like for example, ito, I have here two examples. The mental health services and the child welfare services. For the mental health services, this help people who are experiencing, again, emotional or mental problems such as stress, anxiety, what else? Depression. So, social worker provide counseling therapy, crisis intervention, of course, and referrals to mental health professionals to help people feel better and recover. So, bakit na-include dito si referrals? Kasi once na si client is suicidal na, like hindi na talaga kaya, ganyan, you have to refer them to other more expert, like the psychometrician. Kasi yan yung field of expertise nila, and they will help these clients. Also, we help them first, but we have to refer them para mas ma-improve pa, para mas matulungan pa sila. Next one is the child welfare services. Social workers work with children and families to ensure the safety and well-being of children, which may include foster care placement, family reunification, and adoption services. So, child welfare services focuses on protecting children and helping families provide a safe and caring environment. Social workers may help children through foster care, family reunification, like reunite, and adoption services to ensure their safety and well-being. So, that is all for my part, and it is the end of our report. Shukran, jazakallahu khairan.